do you think about on that government mandated shutdown of the small businesses, the decision between like what's essential and what's not? I saw that you retweeted Jeff Lewis talking about like, hey, alcohol, is immunosuppressant, but we have them open. I joked earlier or a couple of weeks ago saying like it's funny how you can still buy lottery tickets, you can still go buy alcohol, you can do all the things that drive government revenue. I'm not saying that they went into a room and decided like, let's keep our revenue channels open, but there's some questionable things on what's essential and what's not. Like, what's going on there?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, this betrays the idea that this is purely just a healthcare-driven decision. Opening, liquor stores being open is certainly not a health-driven decision. As Jeff tweeted correctly, alcohol is an immunosuppressant. The last thing you really want to do if you're optimizing your health and your immunity system is drink alcohol. So I think that was done either for the political reality of avoiding a revolt, which politicians are very attuned to. If I take away people's alcohol, they're going to complain and whine and protest sooner. So appease. Or maybe revenue driven, and a lot of municipalities, states, et cetera, depend upon sales of liquor revenues, or maybe both. But it's clearly not in the best interest of we're going to maximize or minimize the number of deaths in the United States, so we're going to keep liquor stores open. That seems kind of silly. I mean, imagine like it is so perverse in California right now. It is insane. Our beaches are shut down, our parks are shut down, and the liquor stores are globally open. That there's no rationality that makes any sense behind any part of that statement. And anybody who's, people should be really criticizing Governor Newsom on this is, yes, if you want to be a zero defect, no infections, no hospitalizations, no deaths in California, great. Keep your parks and beaches closed and make people sit at home and, suffer. But how the hell can you let them go to liquor stores, drink alcohol, versus going to a park for a walk on a hike 6 feet apart from people?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. And I guess kind of going off of that as well, then is there's a lot of businesses that, let's say you're a CVS, you're a Dwayne Reed. So you get lumped into, hey, you're an essential business, you're allowed to stay open. But the small business competitor in many cases is being shut down or not allowed to compete. And it just feels like it's very arbitrary, right? So I'm not even saying that I've got an idea as to what a better solution to determine it is. It just feels like once you step into the game of playing kingmaker, really, right? Saying, hey, your business has to shut down, but yours doesn't. It's a slippery slope that I just don't think that there's a good answer. But I don't know how you think about it.
Yeah, there are some lines that, probably are more logical and more defensible, and there are some that are clearly judgment-based, bias-based, lobbying-based. For example, I don't think anybody wants to shut down the provision of food, food supplies, et cetera. And so I think there's not a lot of debate about that. So there's always going to be line drawing, challenges. And I think to some extent, the health of like 50 different states, different communities within each state, allowing them to draw different lines and seeing what works and what doesn't is a great thing. Like the federalist system, a lot of people are learning the benefits of federalism for the first time. It's something we're taught certainly in high school, and maybe people gloss over. Obviously, in law school, you debate and contemplate the history of and learn the legal principles and precedent behind. But it's still somewhat abstract. And now people are seeing, why it may be better to have 50 laboratories of democracy, using, I think, the Jeffersonian phrase. So I think right now, allowing regional variation and experimentation is a good thing, and that should apply to the definition of essential businesses as well.
So obviously that government mandated shutdown has created absolute economic chaos. We've seen 30 plus million Americans file first time unemployment in the last 6 weeks. You've got hundreds of thousands, if not millions of small businesses that are shut down. Some percentage are not coming back. You've got a number of industries that have literally seen all of their economic activity evaporate. My favorite stat was the third week in March in 2019, U.S. domestic box office did $200+ million in weekly revenue. This year, it did less than $5,000, right around $5,000. So you got 99%, evaporation of revenue, and the Fed steps in. And they stepped in with all kinds of actions. What's just high level good actions, bad actions? How do you think about their goal of trying to at least stem some of the issues and relieve some of the pain, really?
Well, I don't know because they've been fairly effective actually at sort of propping up as much as possible. But what are the long-term consequences of that? I don't know, and how to measure that. I'm not a big macro economic thinker, and there's always price to these decisions, but how bad is a price is unclear. So, for example, you are running up a lot of debt, right? Obviously, period. Now, the problem, though, with that is not quite as severe as it might have been in other times in American history because the interest rate of that debt currently is so low. So that one of the things you care about is the debt service load, right? Like any other company. It's like, what's the ongoing burden of the debt? With interest rates so low, the amount of repayment per year is actually more tolerable than it might seem given the magnitude of the debt. So to some extent, it's unclear how this all nets out. Typically, these are bad things. They it shifts burdens to generations, but the generations either aren't voting or don't track this well. So there's a lot of distortions that are going on, but in the short term, it feels like the Fed has minimized the short-term impact on the U.S. economy.